All right, we're gonna react to a Watch Mojo video, which is the top 10 most controversial video issues, and I'm gonna give like my take on those issues and like why my take is that. And if I don't have a take on one of the issues, then just kind of like skip through it and watch it together. But yeah.
Doctors opened his wound and researchers guided a needle, injecting a few drops with 2 million of these wondrous all-purpose cells.
These are the topics that can tear a friendship, relationship, or a good conversation apart.
We want to be the Costco of marijuana.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're
Lit.
counting down our picks for the top 10 most controversial topics. For this list, we're exploring the most conflicting subjects that pervade humanity. They may hit close to home, make you angry or uncomfortable, or release your inner activist. But what they won't do is fail to elicit an opinion. The topics we're focusing on are
All right, I like that.
so they encompass tons of additional subtopics. For example, if animal rights were a category, but hunting was not, it would be because animal rights is an umbrella topic that contains hunting. So consider that point if you think you've thought of a subject that we didn't include.
There's something predatorial in the nature of people that we enjoy killing an animal.
Some people enjoy killing.
Number 10. Stem cells.
Scientists hope that stem cells could be used to create a very special kind of personalized medicine, in which we could replace your own body parts with, well, your own body parts.
Embryonic stem cells are microscopic miracles. Their potential healing power is limitless, from regenerating limbs and burned skin to reversing the effects of strokes and heart disease.
Cells from those embryos were then turned
So
into
why
other
wouldn't we
tissues,
use them?
such as heart cells.
This world of tissue restoration could only be a reality, however, if science had the license to produce them, which would mean the destruction of human embryos. These types of cells can only be retrieved after death, so the raising of any embryo to be slaughtered can be construed as unethical. Plain fraud, or just plain murder.
We know that there are ethical issues involved. We know that there are different laws locally.
Well, I mean, like in the states where the death penalty and shit is a thing, why not? Like, I get it, that sounds like fucked up, but like, if it could do all of that, and I don't know how much they could retrieve from one person, but why not if it's like a death row convict that like murdered 15 families and like are awarded a whole bunch of little kids? Why not? You know?
Nationally
I don't know.
and internationally. And they wanted to provide scientists with a way of negotiating among these different laws and ethical norms.
Is an embryo a human being? And is its sacrifice permissible if it saves the lives of many?
Yeah.
These are polarizing
Nah, I don't.
questions.
It really depends.
We want to stop spinal cord injury. How incredible would that be?
Number 9. Drug legalization.
Welcome to Colorado, home of legal marijuana.
Would the control and legalization
I feel like legalizing marijuana would make the hype for it die down. I believe marijuana should be legalized because people do it because they see it as wrong. Like, I feel like a lot of people do it to be edgy and they see it as wrong at first, and then it becomes a habit, so they keep doing it or whatever. And I feel like if it's super accessible, people aren't really going to care anymore. But at the same time, if it's super accessible and people don't care anymore and people get used to that type of high, maybe they'd want more. So there's two sides to the topic, but in my opinion, I do believe that, you know, marijuana should be legalized. I don't really see the problem with it.
legalization of drugs make the recreation safer? Or would it create a generation of unmotivated and unhealthy stoners?
I actually go on speaking tour to universities and talk to kids about marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like the most genius. I'm like, you want me to talk about marijuana? We're like, okay. And they pay me to do it. Lock up your kids.
While marijuana is the
Excuse me?
most prominent drug in this debate, its risk is low because its health effects are minimal. But there are many who see the benefit of legalizing harder drugs as well, both for the economic value and for the eradication of most organized crime.
To begin with, we don't actually eliminate drugs, we drive the market underground. And the underground market for drugs is violent, it's corrupt, it has poor quality control.
Of course, this would come at a price. In the
But
drug
wouldn't
debate,
wouldn't any type of kind of industry doing anything when it comes to something that can be addictive be corrupt? You know, like even cigarette companies are corrupt. Even Like Jules, they were promoting it as tasting good and shit like that. That's corrupt in my opinion. You're trying to convince somebody to, you know, harm their body, and you're not gonna give out any type of knowledge on what it actually does to your body until I think it was like 3 years later when people started getting that wet lung, I think it was called. People were getting fucked up. So
All about weighing the bad
I don't know.
against the good.
The Office of National Drug Control Policy is in better shape than when you found it.
I'm not sure I made the slightest difference. I tried. I really did.
Number 8, abortion.
Yeah, I need an abortion. 16. I'm gonna say it's been about 2 months and 4 days since the sex.
So when it comes to abortion, I've talked about this topic a few times. I had a video on it on my other channel, but it's taken down now. My view on abortion, I believe the people that, you know, are pregnant due to incest, R-word, and like they might die if they give birth type shit. I believe like that there's you're allowed to get an abortion at that point. Like you have an actual reason. If you're just going out and having sex to have sex and shit like that, wearing no condom, being fucking degenerate, sucks for you. Like you shouldn't. You're told majority of your life, if you have good parents, you go to school, or even if you have mediocre parents and you go to school, you're told to wear a condom. Every person goes to sex ed. You're told to wear a condom. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's taught how to put a condom on by looking, like, at the demonstration in grade school. Like, wear a condom if you're gonna go fuck around. Or use birth control.
It may be the most famous of the ethical debates.
Would you like to have a whole lot of people standing out here showing you that picture to make you more frightened?
If people were forcing that on me, I would want it exposed.
Nobody is forcing anything on anybody. That is completely inaccurate.
The killing of a fetus for no lawful reason just leaves a sour taste in people's mouths. But, just like the stem cell topic, if a fetus is not developed, does not have a brain, is not conscious, or is not self-aware, should it be considered a person?
People just don't think about the life that's inside.
It can be considered a person. Eventually, that's the problem. Eventually, it can be considered a person. Because, I forget when it is, but when it develops a brain, it's a person, is it not? When it develops a heartbeat, it's a person, is it not? It's a person at that point. As human traits. It's a person. You know? So, like, if you're fucking around and then you wait up till the point where it has a heartbeat, like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Even if you don't wait, it's fucked up that you're fucking around and now you're denying that person's ability to be a person. My opinion.
Side of you, or the person that doesn't have a voice.
And if it's destroyed without ever knowing it was alive, can the act really be considered murder?
I think women should be able to make their own decisions about their own lives in their own bodies. And I trust women to make decisions for themselves.
It's like the fallen tree in the forest problem, only with more serious consequences.
87% of counties in the U.S. now have no abortion clinic. In 5 states, there's only 1 clinic. As many as 240,000 women in Texas have already attempted to end a pregnancy on our own. Do we just travel back in time like 100 years, back when 5,000 women died every year as a direct result of abortion being illegal?
Number 7. Gun control.
If more guns made people safer, then America would be one of the safest countries in the world. It isn't. It's the opposite.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you take away the guns, the people that want guns will get guns. So that's another thing that it's like, why are you arguing? Everybody has a fucking gun already. I think it's, like, what? 6 in 10? 5 in 10? Like 50% of households have guns or some type of weapon. So, I don't know. I don't see how, like, you're able to take away everybody's guns. And I think it was Australia, right, that paid to take your gun back, and now they don't have guns. I don't know if it was Australia, but I'm pretty sure it was. So, I don't see America having the ability to do that. Like, I don't see that happening ever. Like, ever. There's zero chance in my mind. But if it does, the people that want guns, the people that do fucked up shit that want guns will get guns, so there's no point.
With gun violence and mass shootings at an all-time high in the United States, where guns and the right to own them are considered sacred, it's no wonder this topic is so contentious.
I think the only way my mind has been changed is maybe that until nobody has guns, everybody has to have them.
As a Second Amendment right,
That's what I
bearing
think.
arms is as quintessentially American as burgers and apple pie. But when it results in an inordinate number of violent deaths and people who are afraid to leave their homes, it changes the scope and gravity of the issue.
There have been 85,000 gun deaths in this country just since Sandy Hook.
Should guns be outlawed? Would it make America safer? Or would the illegal market boom in their absence? And would it deter lunatics? Or does crazy
Alright, that's a little
always
different.
find a way?
I am strongly supportive of doing away what we call the gun show loophole, which means that you could avoid the instant background check.
Number 6, immigration.
If you look, we've spent last year $113 billion on illegal immigrants. We have to do something about it, and we have to start by building.
Now, when it comes to immigration, I don't really care about this topic whatsoever at all. But when it comes to immigration, I think everybody should have the chance to live in America. But if they do it wrong, then yeah, if they don't go through the things that they have to go through to come to America, they shouldn't be in. There's a thing you have to do. You have to do the test or whatever. You have to get a green card. You have to do all that. Do it correctly and you're fine. Don't try to come into the country, stay here in the country, not pay taxes, do all that shit. You know? Like, don't do that. It's just common sense. Do it the right way.
A wall, a big, beautiful, powerful wall.
In light of this.
And then if you say, oh, it's too hard for some people, well, life is hard. It's obviously hard if they're trying to come over here because their life is hard. They can deal with waiting, like, to be able to do it correctly. Don't be lazy.
Syrian refugee crisis and the collective Western uneasiness towards Muslims, the topic of immigration is as serious and relevant as ever in the 21st century.
Unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you.
With throngs of displaced foreigners
That's true.
seeking refuge in countries they perceive as utopic, the world is at odds on how to remedy this.
Billions of dollars have been spent to completely seal off the 3,000-kilometer border. But hundreds of thousands of illegal border crossings take place each year despite all the investments.
I'm like 90% sure that the Donald Trump border wall was never finished, and what was made was dog shit. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I don't think it was ever finished, and I'm pretty sure it was dog shit.
There's the idea that a benevolent nation should reach out to help those who desperately need it. But on the other hand, a practical nation should put the safety of its citizens first and shield them from potential danger. It's hard to unwaveringly stand on either side of the debate, although some people have less trouble than others.
I believe that we have got to pass comprehensive immigration reform, something that I strongly supported.
I don't understand why he's not the president.
LGBT rights.
The fact is, in 31 states, people are at risk of being fired, evicted, or refused service just because they're gay.
See, I've never personally seen any problem with anybody being gay or anything like that. Like, I've never seen something happen to a gay person because they were gay. So I can't really, like, care about this topic either. I haven't seen the unfairness myself. There obviously is unfairness, apparently. And I'm not trying to sound like a dick. I'm just saying I haven't seen it myself. But, yeah, I just don't care about this topic either because everybody's human. So it's like, they have rights, we have rights, we all have rights. We should all have rights.
From marriage equality to gender reassignment surgery, this category certainly runs the gamut of controversial topics.
If homosexuals are allowed their civil rights, then so would prostitutes or thieves or anyone else.
Since much of Western culture has accepted gay marriage and
Are prostitutes not allowed rights? Do they not have rights? I'm pretty sure prostitutes have rights. I don't think that's the thing.
most basic rights of LGBTs are secure.
Wait, what the
it's
hell is this?
Transgender community that's seeking society's acceptance these days.
You were afraid to walk outside because
Yeah, that's what I was
you
gonna
would
say.
see
Yes,
a pregnant man.
I didn't want to leave the house.
While many believe that biology dictates a person's gender, some
It
regard
does.
it as an identity, just as one views his or her sexual preference.
The ideal of male and female is
far more complicated than what we were taught at GCSE biology.
Wherever and however this debate
No, it's not. The biology? You can't say the biology of a male and female is more complicated than it is because we can identify as whatever. That's not how that works. The biology is the biology. Now, if you want to say you're this or that, go ahead. No, nobody is stopping you. Do what you want. Again, we live in a world right now where you could do whatever you want, and you can't really get judged because everybody's scared to get canceled. So go the fuck ahead and stop caring what other people think. You're holding yourself back because you care that other people might care.
resolves, it will be a bumpy ride getting there, as some view the current line between mental illness and personal choice as extremely thin.
There's a lot of hate and a lot of danger.
It's very common to feel like you're not accepted, you know? Especially if you're trying to date or you're trying to put yourself out there.
Number 4, race relations.
Well, I mean, like, if you're trying to date and you're, you know, non-biological female, non-biological male, I think you should rely that to the person you're trying to date. I've seen some fucked up shit where people lie and lie for a while. And then one day, when it becomes that day where they gotta, you know, it's like, damn, you was a dude the whole time? Type shit.
So why can't you play together if you have different color skin?
Because your mom might not want you to play with that friend.
Unless you walk a mile in a person's shoes, or skin in this instance, you cannot understand him or her.
Oh, is this point racism? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, race relations. That's just stupid to me too. Mix, please mix.
Philosophy binding all ethnicities, and any person of a differing race who attempts this comprehension is deemed a racist. In the midst of this issue are the highly controversial buzzwords guilt and privilege, which have been applied very liberally in recent years.
I never really knew what was or wasn't part of the privilege. I just knew that I was a lucky person.
Should a person be guilty for what he or she can't control? And should he or she be part of the blame for his or her racist transgressions?
The president doesn't want us to march today.
Selma's a good-ass movie.
But we must march. We must stand up. We must make a massive demonstration of our moral certainty.
It's hard to know, and even harder to talk about.
We shouldn't be complacent about the very real existence of problems out there, but we shouldn't despair and think nothing's changed.
Number 3, the death penalty.
Austin Myers.
I believe in the death penalty. Eye for an eye. Sorry, eye for an eye. If you kill a fucking family of 5, that is like, come on, bro. Like, come on. You really want that person living in a jail cell? You think that person deserves to live in a jail cell for like 50 plus years, have 50 plus years left of their lives? You think so? Like, you could think what you want, but Jesus fucking Christ, no.
Eye
for an eye.
Today, he asked the judge to spare his life. Last week, a Warren County jury recommended death for the 19-year-old.
Who can decide if a person should die?
Oh, this movie was sad as shit
This
too.
long-standing debate on the morality of the death penalty.
I believe in the death penalty, and we had the death penalty here for years now in California. People try to reverse it all the time. I was all for it.
Some take an eye for an eye approach on crime. Others believe that life in prison is a far more suitable punishment. While a
I don't think so.
substantial percentage thinks that only God should decide who lives and who dies.
But Californians have become increasingly divided over capital punishment. Almost half of the electorate opposes it, while the other half is in support of it.
Considering that 31 U.S. states have the death penalty, and 19 do not, almost half of which abolished it in the last 10 years. The debate is becoming much more even-sided.
Maybe death is a gift. You wonder.
Number 2, politics.
We have picked ourselves up. We have fought our
Politics. Your vote doesn't fucking matter. The electoral colleges of votes matter. I'm never gonna vote in my lifetime. Ever. Unless, like, Kanye West is running for president again, I'm not voting. There's no point.
And we know in our hearts that for the United States of America, the best is yet to come.
Every topic on this list can fall under the umbrella of politics in one way or another. It's
It
the
can.
government. It controls the world. It can control media, and within reason, it controls you. Any change can have a profound effect on your quality of life.
You know, look, I mean, we've really done well. I've spent a lot of time in Iowa. I love the people of Iowa. We're doing great with the evangelicals, Sean. We're doing
I love
great
the
with
people
Tea
of
Party,
Iowa.
and I think we're going to do really well in Iowa. We look forward to it.
Your own political ideologies are always at odds with someone else's, as people seem to be pigeonholed into the right or left wing.
They call me Vito Corleone because I vetoed
Vito
2,500 separate
Corleone.
line items in the budget.
Believing in one thing instead of another can land you on either side of the spectrum and can occur entirely without your knowledge. What about the issue of whether the church and the state should be separate? Politics is a debate you have no choice participating in.
Wait a minute. You're hearing about it all the time in the news, right? The fight about having the 10 Commandments in a courtroom or whether or not kids should be praying to Obama? The separation of church and
What?
state is one of the hallmarks of American freedom. Here's the problem. Misconception.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Doctors know which side of the white coat they want to stay on. And nobody
I don't know
wants
what
to be
this
a
is.
medical basket case at the end of their life, particularly medical people.
They're getting their sex education from
Yes.
the internet, from each other, which is not accurate
They
information.
need sex
We
education.
need to
I don't know how this is a controversial topic. How is that a controversial topic? How? Is that not a thing in school anymore? Hold up. Look. Well, I'm having a stroke. Education. Damn, I can't. Education. Blah 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 blah. Part of the education. Education being in public school, obviously. Covered programs. Actually, only 24 states in the sex education in public school. Really? Only 24 states? Whoa.
Prop 35 was really scary for sex workers. And
Prostitution?
A lot of us came out of the woodwork
Yeah, I
to
don't
work
agree
on
with
it
prostitution
because it
either.
required that if we
That's
were
gross.
arrested, we would have to register as sex offenders in our neighborhoods, which is really crazy for anybody who wants to rent a home or get a job or
I mean,
foster
technically
a
you are.
child or keep the child that they currently have.
Only in a society protected by modern medicine,
Immunization.
technologies and pharmaceuticals that have stopped so many illnesses, has the arrogance to reject what science, modernity, and medicine have done.
Number one, religion.
Religion.
In the name of Allah, the terrorist group ISIS sends a message for the world to hear.
Religion.
My view on religion is don't care about anybody else's religion but yours. Somebody doesn't believe in your religion, why do you care? Why are you trying to force them to believe in yours? You wouldn't like if they try to force you to believe in theirs. Well, what's the point? You could talk about it, have an open discussion about it, you know, talk about differences, talk about similarities, but I don't, like, why are you trying to force somebody to be your religion? There's no fucking point. And if you're an atheist motherfucker, shut up. Nobody cares. I'm sorry. Nobody fucking cares. Every atheist I've ever met is just like, I'm atheist. God's not real. Fuck your God. God's not real. I swear to God. Ha, I lied. Like, stop. Shut up.
Determines how a person lives his or her life.
Just believe if you don't believe in God, then where's your moral barometer?
And potentially how they'll spend
That too. If somebody is like, if somebody falls under a religion, you know they have morals immediately. It doesn't matter what religion, you know, they have, like, there's equivalency to sin in majority of religions. So you can tell from just that they have morals, and it shows what type of person they are.
their afterlife. There is no doubt that this is a touchy subject.
If you're led to believe that they're ghosts, at first that seems quite reasonable to you, but after you start thinking about it skeptically, you go, that's probably a guy with a handkerchief on a stick.
The threat of infringing upon one's eternal happiness can turn a sane person mad.
When I've seen what I've seen, I know there's a God. You can't change my mind. Nobody can change my mind.
Since the first hominid prayed to an unknown force thousands of years ago, the number of lives lost from wars, genocides, crusades, and sacrifices has been astronomical. And religion has been a catalyst for many of these.
20% of young men lose their religious identity while in the Army.
That's not a percentage which the Haredi world would be willing to tolerate.
There are few decisions made without the influence of religion. Like it or not, spirituality and religious involvement are as much a part of humanity as bipedalism, and we must contend with their discrepancies.
We don't push our beliefs
Exactly.
on people, but we do make them available.
Exactly.
Yes, oh, definitely.
Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the most controversial?
Exactly. You don't force your beliefs, but you're open to people. You're open about it. You'll talk about it. Why not? Why not talk about it? Why not have a conversation? You have a conversation about anything. You know? It's that simple. All right, that was a good video. I wouldn't say a lot of those were controversial topics, just topics you can talk about and debate about. But controversial, not really. You just have an opinion or you don't. But it is what it is. Peace.
Controversial topics.